Jack "Iron Wolf" Mercer had spent nearly half his life living on the road, riding from state to state with the unwavering brotherhood of the Hells Angels at his back. He wasn't a bad man, just a man who'd lived a hard life, made rough choices, and carried regrets like stones in his pocket. The one thing he regretted most was the distance between him and his daughter, Emily. After her mother died, Jack felt he wasn't good enough to raise her, and he left her in the care of her aunt, promising to send money, and one day come back. Years passed. Emily grew, wrote letters that Jack could never bring himself to open, and lived a quiet life he prayed would never be touched by his dangerous world. But one chilly Wednesday morning, something in his gut twisted with a force he could not ignore. It felt like a punch from the universe, a warning. Without telling anyone, Jack fired up his bike and rode straight to the small town where Emily attended middle school. He planned nothing big. No gifts, no speeches. Just a quick visit. A father showing up to say, "I'm here. I'm trying." But the moment he stepped through the school gates, he noticed the strange silence. Students huddled in corners. Teachers whispered urgently. And then he saw Emily's backpack, torn, one strap dangling, lying beside the school wall. His heart stopped. He stormed inside the main hall and found Emily curled up behind a locker row, wiping tears with trembling hands. When she lifted her head and saw him, the shock in her eyes broke him. She ran into his arms before he could speak. She told him everything. 3 boys had been bullying her for months, mocking her mom, her clothes, and worst of all, her father. When she tried to walk away, one of them shoved her to the ground. A teacher saw it happen, and did nothing. Jack felt something ancient and volcanic awaken inside him. But this time, rage wasn't the only force burning in him, it was shame. The school trembled, not from fear, but from the sheer vibration of chrome, steel, and roaring freedom as more than 200 Hells Angels bikes pulled into the parking lot. Teachers froze mid-step. Parents stopped their cars in the street. Students pressed their faces to the windows, whispering in disbelief as the riders formed a protective ring around the school, engines rumbling like the heartbeat of a giant. Jack stood at the center with Emily holding his hand, her eyes widening not in fear, but awe. She had never seen her father like this, a leader, respected, feared, and surrounded by a brotherhood that treated loyalty as sacred. The school principal rushed outside, pale and trembling. "Mr. Mercer, this isn't necessary." Jack stepped forward, voice calm but sharp as broken glass. "My daughter was bullied. Your staff ignored it. Today, we fix that." The principal stammered excuses, but Jack raised a hand, silencing him. Then he motioned to 3 riders, Tank, Razor, and Ghost, massive men who looked like they were carved out of rock. They walked into the school, not laying a finger on anyone, but their presence alone made teachers straighten up and students scramble out of their way. Within minutes, the bullies were found. Standing in the hallway, shaking, their tough guy masks melting off their faces. Tank knelt down, looked the ringleader in the eye and said, "You ever lay a hand on her again, you'll answer to the whole family." The message was clear, not violence, but consequences. Jack made each boy apologize to Emily face to face. They did. Sincerely. Trembling. Respectfully. Outside, the angels clapped in approval as Emily stepped forward, shoulders back, chin high. For the first time in her life, she felt protected, not by fear, but by love. Then Iron Wolf knelt in front of her. "I'm sorry I wasn't here," he whispered. "But I'm here now. And I'm staying." Emily hugged him so tightly he felt her forgiveness sink straight into his bones. The riders cheered, revving their engines in a beautiful, thunderous salute. What started as a small unannounced visit turned into a moment that changed everything. The school learned a lesson. The bullies learned respect. Emily found her voice. And Jack Mercer, Iron Wolf, found his way back to his daughter. Before riding out, Jack looked around at the students watching from the steps and said, "Family protects family." Remember that. And as the angels rode away, engines echoing down the highway, Emily slipped her hand into her father's and whispered, "Can we spend the day together?" For the first time in years, Jack smiled with a full heart. "I'd like nothing more." If you want more stories like this, full of emotion, twists, and unforgettable moments, make sure to subscribe. Your support helps us keep bringing powerful stories to life.